Hey everyone! Good morning and welcome to LovenStamps Studio. I'm Meg and I have Maker Mornings with Meg for you today. Today's project is actually, well, two projects, and I thought it would be kind of fun to do a really simple express stamping technique. So the first card is one that you can do in like really a snap. I think you'll be really impressed with the cool ideas that you can use and the way it's going to come together really quickly. The second card takes our blending brush technique, so woohoo for these guys, and we are going to use that blending brush technique to take a card to the next level. It's actually not complicated, it just uses a little bit more Stampin' Blends and the Umbrella Days stamp set. If you haven't seen this one yet, it's actually really pretty and has a really, I don't know, it's like very heartfelt in its greeting and so forth. So I think you guys will like that. We're going to pair it with an unexpected designer series paper and some fun embellishments for another, a second card in today's video. So one technique, blending brushes, and two cards with very different effects. So I think you guys will agree. When you get to the end, you're going to have to tell me, do you think that they're really different? Or do you think, oh, Meg, you're not as different as you think? So anyway, with that, let us on our pre-Friday, happy pre-Friday, everyone, go ahead and get started. Hey, Tanya. All right, so I have here some basic white cardstock. I have the link in the video description for the new basic white cardstock number. So it's going to be packaged as 24 instead of 40 sheets going forward. And so if you're looking for that, the product number's changed. It's in the video description. But as you know, the With You in Mind stamp set came out in January, and this is one of the greatest sort of all-purpose stamp sets that I think we have right now. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to use it. It covers sort of the big four here for greetings, and we're going to use it to do a really simple card. So we're going to do a little bit of a brushed background here, and then we're going to layer our greeting on top. Now, you could stamp your greeting first, but we're going to go ahead and do our background first just for sort of the protection of it. If you've never used a blending brush before, know that they are a really terrific tool. I find the easiest way to use them is to apply your blending brush directly to your cardstock. You're going to swirl on your ink pad to pick up ink, and then you're going to tap off once. Less important on light colors, much more important on dark colors. And then you're just going to swirl this onto your cardstock. And wherever your image is going to be, this is where we want to have our swirled color, all right? Now, if I wanted this color to be deeper, I could pick up more ink and add more, but I'm actually pretty happy with that right now. So the next thing we're gonna do is take our second color. So that was Coastal Cabana, this is Pretty Peacock, and they are very similar colors. Just one is a little bit darker than the other, and so they go together beautifully. And we're just going to go ahead and we're going to stamp Happy Birthday on here. All right, so we've got our birthday, and like already, this is a pretty quick card, right? I promise I have a second project for you because this one's going to take about like, I don't know, a minute. So when we're talking express stamping, believe me. All right, next I'm going to take my little cupcake to go with this. I'm going to ink it here on my Coastal Cabana, and then I'm going to take a second blending brush. This one is set for darker color, and I'm going to pick up some Peacock and I'm going to tap it just around the edges of my stamp. So we have direct to stamp technique. So we have blending brush on our background and blending brush on our image here before we stamp it. All right, so there is our cupcake there. Now, I feel like this is a little bit intense for a color match. Oh, hey, Lori. Hey, Sue. Hey, Nikki. Oh, it's raining in San Francisco. Okay, well, I'm sorry, but today's card's going to be kind of perfect for you, Lori. So let's try this one more time. And I'm going to ink this up again in Coastal Cabana, same thing. But before I do the adding the ink, I'm going to go ahead and stamp off once. So now I have a lighter version of this. I'm going to pick up some Peacock. I'm still going to go around the edges, and then I'm going to stamp this on here now. And let's take a look at those two. Look at these two images. So this one's pretty intense here with the amount of ink included. This one is a lot more compatible with our project. So keep that trick in mind. When you have an ink pad that's just a little more intense than you expected it to be, remember that you can very easily cut that ink down by stamping off on scrap paper. So, all right, now I'm going to do sort of a quick and dirty fussy cut around this little image. We're going to pop a Stampin' Dimensional behind it and stick it to our card. And then we're going to grab some dots here. Now, I'll show you another version. I use the party dots. These are actually out of stock right now. But the 2024 to 2026 in color gems are also perfect for this. So I'm going to go ahead and pop some of these on here. Remember, we want our gems, our embellishments, to focus in on our focal point, which is our greeting. So I've placed them kind of around our greeting. The cupcake's sort of included by proximity, but our focus point is going to be on our birthday here. And hey Sue, hey Nikki, hey Joan. All right. Oh, I think I said hi to people anyway. All right, and now we have two choices for a color background. We can choose to make this a basic white cardstock, and I need to score this. When you're using thick white cardstock, you always want to remember to score and not just fold it, because you don't want it to crack. So we can have a really simple card here where we add this to a basic white background, or we can have a more intense color here where we add this to our Coastal Cabana background. And even though that would take me 2 seconds, I have both of those cards here finished to show you. So, like I said, this is a really easy technique. I think that card took, maybe 4 minutes to make total. Really quick and really simple. You can accent the color by adding a color background, or you can keep it here on the white. Now, you ready for the real card? This is a quick version. Okay, these are real cards. I would absolutely do this. And really easy with a stamp set like with you in mind, to just take those images and pop them on your envelope. Pop a couple inside. You can see here, I did a really easy technique. Here you're gonna take a piece of cardstock or a piece of scrap paper. You're going to rip it across there, and then you can use your blending brush to add color across that border to give you a really fun little accent, okay? So here's sort of the same inside our card. Got that? So remember, masking, ombre backgrounds, and highlighting, really, really easy technique. So, oh yeah, you guys like the colored card? Yeah, I'm good with both. Sometimes I'm up for the simplicity of the white. But let's go back to our original here, and let's bring in another stamp set. We're gonna bring in Umbrella Days. And this time we're gonna do some stamping and a little bit of quick coloring. So just a little, okay? And so I'm gonna bring in my Memento black pad, march that stamp across, and go ahead and stamp that here with our nice crisp images. I love Memento black. I did re-ink mine this morning just to get a really, really nice crisp image. So remember to have your re-inker handy for that. To do re-inking, I'm not gonna do this very much for real because I just re-inked this, but you're just gonna run like a drop or a few drops of ink on there, and then you can use the tip of the re-inker to just make sure that that's squished in, maybe sort of crosshatch pattern, diagonal, vertical, horizontal. But your pad should absorb the ink. It shouldn't rest on top. If you got it resting on top, you might be a little bit heavy-handed with it. So, but keep that nice and inked. And then for our Memento pad, we're going to do a little bit of coloring. Now I've got my Stampin' Blends here, and this is really simple coloring. We just have 2 colors. And when people get started with Stampin' Blends markers, if you don't have a lot of Stampin' Blends yet, know that you don't have to have a zillion of them to get started or to have really effective coloring. I think kind of a red and a yellow. If you're flowers or something you'll color a lot, you're going to want a green for doing stems. And I like to go with a color family or keep your color selections in the color family that you gravitate towards, because that's the one you'll be most happy using sort of on a regular basis. So, but Pool Party and Coastal Cabana, definitely 2 of my favorites. So add a layer of base color to color the whole background, and then go back with your darker marker. They come in pairs, and add in some shadow along places where there are either shadow lines or places where you want to highlight, color, or layer. Okay, so sort of the bottom of our coat, under the armpit here. And then we're gonna grab a little collar action. And then go back with your lighter color and blend a little bit at the intersection between those two tones to sort of ease that color transition so it's not quite as stark, okay? All right, let's see, I'll do a little more in here, but not very much. And then we're gonna use crumb cake for our little puppy friend. And again, I'm gonna go with the lighter first, and a brown is a really great choice. Crumb cake, if you guys didn't see the video that I shared just like the other day, we did sort of a cool blending brush outline technique. And we're gonna put this here. Now, the difference between crumb cake light and dark is pretty intense. So I'm gonna go with a bullet tip of crumb cake here to do my highlighting, and so I don't get too much on there. And of course our puppy friend will have some shadowing like on the bottom of their paws and like where their ear sits, a little bit down here, chin. There's some color here lines. Okay. And then we're gonna come back with our light, and like I said, we'll blend just a tiny bit at that intersection between those two colors to give it a little extra continuity there. Okay, all right, so now we have our colors here, and the dies from Umbrella Days. I wanna point out that there's two kinds of dies in this set. There are the dies here that cut out our images, and these are terrific for making super quick elements out of this. And you're gonna see why on our blending brush technique. Remember, we're blending brush techniques today. You're gonna see why it's so great to have these dies to cut out images. This one cuts out the larger character in our stamp set. And then there are these fantastic sort of scene builder dies. There's some bushes, a puddle, all of these pieces here that you can use to cut out actual shapes of things. Is that a sweater? Oh my gosh, I didn't even know this. You can make like a little sweater. Here, let me pop this off here. This is a sweater for your puppy. So you can have a little puppy sweater. Okay, I might have to do that next. So honestly, if you didn't think you needed this Umbrella Day stamp set, you might need it just for the puppy sweater. I'm gonna say is kind of the necessity here. Anyway, all kinds of boots, and you can use these without stamping the background images. You can just have die cuts, or you can use them all together to make kind of a big scene. But let's take our piece here, and we're gonna do a really quick die cut. Oh, Sue says we haven't heard from Pepper yet. I don't know, she might be sleeping. She might be outside. We actually kind of have a nice sunny day today, so sorry, Lori, don't mean to rub it in. We're gonna die cut these across here. And then we're going to take a look at these. So now we have our shapes here die cut and ready to go on our card. So let's bring in another piece of the basic white, and we're gonna make a little sort of home for our friends here. Let me do it this way. To pop on, but we're going to use that same technique with the blending brushes that we used earlier. So I'm going to grab my Coastal Cabana, and I'm using these just as a sort of space idea. So what I want to do is I want to add a background behind where they are going to sit, and so we're going to get this a little bit up and a little bit down. Remember, with this technique, you don't actually need a ton of color. Let's see. I'll need a little bit more because I don't want them to be above or below the ombre patch here. So go just a little bit more down below. There we go. All right, and you see how that really highlights them? So honestly, we could do this. We could pop this on a card base here and be done already. So if you wanted to do a simple card, really similar to this version here, but with our friends, this is absolutely a ready to go one. So Oh, hey, Lynn. Yay. Oh, yes. So many of my demonstrator friends are in Raleigh, North Carolina for a really fun on stage, the Stampin' Up! Convention. So super excited to hear about that. As you can see, I'm in my studio and not at on stage, but we have some fun. I have some fun planned for next week. So I will be. I won't be here for Maker Mornings with Meg next week, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. So, okay, so we have our layer right here, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a little more to this. We're going to add our greeting. I have the. Let's see, actually I'll show you that version, but I think we're going to do the Be Brave version. So this stamp set has some really sort of heartfelt sayings. It has Be Brave, it has You Are the Umbrella to My Rainy Days, and it has this, The Storm Will End and the Sun Will Shine Again, which are all absolutely beautiful sentiments. I'm really a fan of them. And so we're going to take our Be Brave here. We'll move our puppy over. Oops, set him aside for later, and stamp. Now, when you guys are stamping on with red rubber stamps, one of the things that I love is the chance to pre-stamp them, okay? One of the tools that I use is the chance to pre-stamp them. And so what I'm gonna do, when I put this on here, I want it to be straight, but it's hard to tell for sure how it's actually gonna stamp. So here's my technique for that tip. You're going to pretend on a grid paper that you're stamping exactly where you are. So I've got it square to where my grid paper is, like kind of lining it up with the lines so that I can sort of predict how it's going to run. And if I find that it's a little crooked, then it's really easy to know exactly how much to sort of rebalance that to pop on my card. So let's see. I'm not really paying attention. So I'm aligning with a B, and it is just a little tilted up. So I'm going to tilt it a teeny bit down. And now when I stamp it on my project, I have just exactly the tilt that I want. So pre-stamp on your grid paper so that you can stamp exactly how you intend on your project. All right, next thing I'm going to do, we're going to add just a little bit of extra to this. And one of the stamps that's included in the stamp set is the rain image here. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull that out. And it is really intense. I'm going to use it with the Coastal Cabana pad. It's really intense with the first stamping and second and even third, and I don't want that much. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp it off a few times, and then we're just going to use it here as a little bit. Okay, so I've kind of got third and fourth generation stamping there, and I put the rain up above our umbrella because the whole idea here is that you don't want your rain to go down below your umbrella. All right. Okay, so I do have a technique to show you for that. I have another version of this that I set up earlier, and so one of the things that I didn't like here, I'll show you how it works on here, is this. Okay. So if I have this, the rain is coming down under the umbrella and it looks like the umbrella is maybe not doing what it needs to be doing. So it's okay, you can do that. But if you want to create a place for your umbrella to sort of protect from rain, what you want to do is take your Post-it note, okay, and take the die and go ahead and pop this on. But instead of cutting, oh wait, I want it to be straight. So I want this to be aligned here with the edge of our paper. Actually, we'll do it this way. So what I want to do is have this here, okay, but I don't want to cut the whole die because I don't want to have the rain come down below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut so that just this portion, just this part of our die is cut. And let me show you how we're going to do that. So I've got my plates here, and I'm going to pop this on not straight. I'm going to pop it on like this, okay? And then I'm going to take my top plate and I'm going to align it so that pressure is only going to be placed up through the top of the umbrella, okay? See how we're working here? So let me switch our camera so you can come with me to my die cut machine. Keep those plates pressed where I want them. And then we're going to look at what this does. So I didn't cut the whole thing. I've only cut the very top part. So when I take these away, I have the front of our umbrella. Okay, well, I'll have to trim that with some scissors. and the front of our umbrella cut and the back of our umbrella cut. Trim, we'll pretend that that's cut all the way. And then what I want to do is I want to make a straight line right here. And to do that, I'm going to use my trimmer so that I get a really straight line, since we're, you know, kind of doing the perspective thing here. So I'm aligning the left side of our paper, and that's the scoring blade, and cutting away there, okay? So now basically what we have is a mask that is going to protect. Oh, Cindy says my ink pad is making you nervous. Sorry, Cindy. Yeah. Oh, hey, Unica, and hey, Kim. Let's see. Okay, you guys are liking this technique. So what we're gonna do, what we could do, we'll put this on here, pretend this is our piece, and we're gonna go ahead and have our umbrella person protected here from the rain, okay? And then I'm gonna use my stamp here. We're using it, Cindy, so. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp all across here. There we go. And when we remove our mask, now we have a place where we have the dry rain spot. Does that make sense? So now we would have that protected underneath, and you could pop your little puppy friend under to protect from the rain. Okay. So anyway, a really a fun extra bonus masking technique, but we're not going to worry about it too much here because we've done our ombre, and we're going to pop this on like so. So let's grab some dimensionals, and then I have kind of a we're gonna change this up and switch it to be a different card direction, and I'll show you why. So let's put our friends on here. Put them up a little bit higher. There we go. We don't want to cover up our greeting though. All right, so we have our pieces here. And what I want to do is take a look at how we're going to put this on our card. So I decided that I like Pool Party as a card base better for this than the Coastal Cabana, because it's just a little bit lighter, not as light as the white, so you guys who wanted the colored background. So we could go ahead and mount this like this and be done, and we'd have a really cute card. But I kind of wanted to get rid of some of this white space over here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch this, and we're gonna trim away the extra and make it a vertical card instead of a horizontal card. And to do that, we're going to trim this to be 4 1/4, 3, let's do about 3 inches. Let's see. Measuring 3, and let's keep a little more of our shadow on there. Okay, we'll do about like this. All right, so now we have our vertical, and I feel like it focuses a little bit more on the images and so forth. So we're using that a little bit less white space to kind of focus things in. So again, we could do card this direction, but I kind of like the idea of doing it this direction. But I feel like this is a lot of blank space. So a couple different ways to doing this on here. Oh, Sue said fussy cutting wouldn't work. Okay, I don't remember what you were talking about. Sorry, Sue, I missed your technique late. So fussy cutting the umbrella, I don't know. You'll have to remind me if you want me to go back. And Inika, I'm not on stage. I actually, I have a really fun trip planned for which I am headed out of town very shortly. And so I won't be here for Maker Mornings with Meg next week because I'll be backpacking in Zion and doing some rock climbing and so forth. So sadly to coincide, but we don't get to pick spring break time. So okay, but back to our card. I felt like I wanted something background here. And so I looked through my designer series papers, and the one that I pulled out is a little bit of a surprise. So this is the Full of Life designer series paper. And I really wanted to mimic sort of the watercolor, the background, the very easy and color of that. And if you look at the front of these papers, none of these match that, right? None of these get that same message across. But when you look at the back sides of these, we have some really interesting possibilities. Especially, I thought, this one, which isn't gonna pop up, this one. Ta-da! So it's the back of this paper right here. And I didn't cut it because I wanted to show you how you can really use an ombre paper like this, which matches the ombre background technique that we did, to pull out colors. So if I want to cut a sheet of this paper like here, if I use this with the mostly blue at the top, it really changes the feel from the card that is mostly green at the bottom. Do you see how that works? So I want to pull this darker color here. So when I go to trim this, I'm going to go ahead and trim my, okay, I'll close this ink pad, Cindy. Oh, the Polaroid. It does kind of look like a Polaroid. We're going to go ahead and cut this to be 4 inches wide. And then, like I said, we're going to keep that green. So I'm going to pop this down to the bottom here to 5 1/4. And then set aside my trimmer. So now we have this effect here with a really pretty background, and you see how it really brings out those colors there, and it kind of anchors the base of our card. So let's go ahead and attach this. So this full of life paper definitely is not one to be overlooked, because it's bright or not necessarily exactly the feel you want for your card. Look at the back sides of these, because there are some really, really beautiful watercolor wash papers in here that make a big difference. So in the feel. So similar colors, but just a very soft look. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and add our layer. And it does have a Polaroid look to it. I'm popping this sort of up towards the top to emphasize the Polaroid effect. Yeah, I like that. Thanks, Cindy. Hey, Mary Ellen. All right, so there we have that, but we're of course not done. We need a little bling to add to our card. And so we're going to go ahead and add the bling to this. So again, party dots work great, but so do these 2026 in color dots. And so I'm going to pop a couple of these. Now, like we always say, we want our embellishments to bring your focal point, or bring your eye to the focal point. And I'm going to include this whole image right here, this whole like sort of swath as part of our focal point. So I've got those added right around with our greeting and with our piece there. And then if we want to go ahead and stamp inside our card, which of course we want to stamp inside our card, right? We can decorate a number of ways. So one of the ways will be to go ahead and do some stamping on here. So I could add one of our other friends or something like that. We could add some rain, or we have this strip of designer series paper here that is very handy. And so one of the things I love to do is just use some of that designer series paper. Actually, we even just have this strip at the bottom here, and we don't even have to trim it hardly. And pop this on. Actually, that would have been kind of a pretty one to add to bring out that green there. But we can add this to the bottom of our card, and now we've got just a little bit of extra inside, and trim that off. And then I am a big fan of this. This storm will end and the sun will shine again. There's a really good reminder. And let's use this block here. Again, we're going to use our trick to make sure that we get our straight stamping, because we can't see through our stamp. So we're going to use our memento. And I think this will be a little bit easier with a big greeting like this. So what we're going to stamp on here as if it's going to be straight on the lines, and oh, it is pretty straight. It looks like it runs downhill maybe a tiny bit. So if I take it and turn it up a teeny bit, that seems about right. Okay, so let's ink this up and turn it up a teeny bit. And there we have a nice greeting placed exactly where we want it on our card. All right. And then we can pop this on the inside of our card. And I think stamping an envelope for this one, I've just stamped that little puppy on the front. It's awfully cute, right? I don't know, a puppy with a raincoat. So there we have a really fun stepped up version of our simple here. Okay, so very great technique with the blending brushes, and then just adding a little bit extra to make it just that little extra. Here's another one with the other You're the Umbrella to My Raining Days stamp on the front, so that one fits too. And again, just crumb cake and pool party for the coloring make this a really, really simple card. And then totally set off beautifully with our strips of the designer series paper. So when you're making cards, yay. Yeah, Joan, totally agree. The DSP makes a really big difference in just making that card pop. When you're making cards, you have a lot of choice in how you ramp things up or how you keep things simple. We have a really beautiful, simple stamping card here with the With You in Mind and a blending brush. But then we also have this sort of stepped up version here with the Umbrella Days stamp set. Still with a blending brush and that great technique, but then adding some DSP and some Stampin' blends, just a little bit extra. So, sometimes it depends when I'm making a card, sometimes it depends on how long I have, how close to going out the door I am to needing this card or getting it in the mail. And sometimes you want to take some time and do some, extra creating. So good, chance to, use your techniques and so forth. So don't feel like any particular technique is only simple or only, more complex. Really use what you've got to kind of explore that difference. So, all right. As Kelly says, happy pre-Friday. Good to see you. And then, of course, because we don't have Friday on Maker Mornings with Meg, we're Tuesday, Thursday, so today's pre-Friday. And so I wanted to just let you guys know I won't be here for live videos next week on Tuesday and Thursday. That is our spring break. And I will be, I'll post, hopefully we will have no rain. So think good rain-free thoughts for me on our backpacking trip. But I will post some pictures from our trip so you can kind of see what adventures we are up to. And then when we get back, I have some really fun cards to share with you, including one about camping adventures. So you'll like that one, I think. In the meantime, definitely be sure to check in on the LovenStamps Facebook page and so forth for more pictures and card ideas and reminders of things that you might have missed. I don't want you guys to think I am gone. But I look forward to sharing all those things with you. In the meantime, remember that March is our feature for the Storybook Friends and Storybook Moments Suite. And you will want to remember that you can get those tutorials when you place an order in my online store. For any value, you're going to get those. For any amount of order, you're going to get those 4 tutorials, including, I put them over here. 1 second, and I'll grab them. Including these 2 cards that I've showed you already, and 3 cards actually that I've showed you already. So you're going to get written tutorials for 1, 2, and 1 that I haven't shown you. So let's switch our camera. Oh, we'll just do it here. This card here with the pop-out strip card tutorial for this fun zigzag card holder card. And then we have our card that I shared actually kind of a little while ago with the sort of choice gift card holder. So you can put your gift card here or not. So those are 3. And then I have 1 more that I'll show you when I get back from spring break. And I think you're going to love that one. It's a fun fold too. It's a standing up card and really features the designer series paper with a really cool trick. So those 4 are your My Gift From You PDF tutorial, and of course you have the videos. If your order is at least $60, you're going to get card kits in the mail for 2 of those cards. The card kit for this one with all of the pieces pre-die cut and cut and so forth for you, all the DSP embellishments. And then the other card that I haven't shown you yet will be one of those other card kits. And then your $60 order will also get you a bonus 12 card tutorial that is a video class, and you can purchase that. The link's in the video description for getting that from my Etsy shop. But it's myself and 11 demonstrator friends that have put together this creative stamping collective to bring you extra card ideas. So that is available now, and if you've already placed your order this month, you should check your email because you should have already gotten that link for me. So yay. Oh, thank you for the fun wishes, Nancy. So yeah, I'm excited. So it'll be a nice chance to get outdoors. with that, I think that covers us for this month or this day of Maker Memories with Meg. I wish you guys all a wonderful weekend, and whether your spring break is now or next week or in 2 weeks or whenever, I hope that you're enjoying spring wherever you're at, and that you have a chance to be creative, chance to do something that you love. Maybe take a technique and make 2 different cards with it, 2 really different cards, right? Something simple and something a little bit more involved. Enjoy putting together those different possibilities. So, all right, thanks for hanging out with me a little bit, and I will look forward to sharing another Maker Mornings with you, Maker Mornings with Meg video with you soon. So, happy stamping, everybody.